Welcome back, dear students and friends. In the previous session, we were discussing this chapter number 4, reproductive health, and we have discussed many aspects of reproductive health. Specifically, what is reproductive health? What is the purpose of reproductive health? Why the reproductive health is necessary? What are the different contraceptive methods of birth control? What is MTP and what is its significance? And we have also now we have to discuss regarding this new topic, and this is called as infertility. Today we will discuss this topic because without that the reproductive health is somewhat you can say that it's a half topic. Okay, so we will discuss this topic called as infertility. Okay, so what do you mean by infertility? Actually, what is an infertility? Infertility, that means incapability of a couple to produce children. So this is called as infertility, a major problem in now a world. Okay, so what is an infertility? That is incapability of a couple to produce children. That's called as an infertility. There are lots of people nowadays in the world, they are suffering from this problem, infertility, and India is no other country. India is a part of a world, so in India also you can find lots of couples who are suffering from this infertility. That means that couple cannot conceive or cannot have a children. There are variety of reasons why they suffer from infertility. There are lots of reasons. For in some people it may be due to some physical reason. In some people it may be due to some diseases. It may be due to a consumption of few drugs, or it may be due to an you can say that immunological basis or immunological reason, or it may be a psychological reason. So these are the few reasons why they suffer from infertility or they have a problem of infertility. Might be a physical problem, that is disease, a drug, or immunological problem, or psychological problem. Any of the problem or the combination of this problem that may result into an infertility. Okay. In India and also in the other parts of the world, there are specialist healthcare system or health setup. They are available who detect this infertility problem and they try to correct it. So that's why the couple can conceive or the couple have a children. Usually this kind of clinical setups, like a kind of a hospital where such kind of a treatment of infertility is done, they are called as infertility clinics. What they are called as? Infertility clinic. Okay, so infertility clinic, these are the healthcare setup where they are dealing with detection of a problem of infertility. Once it is detected, they try to correct it. That means they implement such kind of a corrective measures. So now a couple has a couple might have children in future. So this is called as an infertility clinic. That means they give a kind of a treatment what they require. Depends on the type of a cause. Whatever the kind of treatment they require, this infertility clinics they provide them. Okay, but in certain cases, the corrective measure does not guarantee or does not fulfill the requirement of children. So that in that cases, we have to go for a certain newer techniques. Okay, and these techniques are called as ART. Okay, so those who cannot be corrected by infertility clinics, so they has to be provided by different techniques. This is called as ART, means assisted. A means assisted, R means reproductive, T means technology. Okay, what is an ART? Assisted reproductive technology. So these are the kind of a newer technology which help a couple to have a children. Okay, so this is a kind of a ART. So clear, students? So what is infertility? Infertility, that means incapability of a couple to have a children. This is called as infertility. Why it occurs? Variety of the reasons. Few reasons are physical, diseases, drugs, immunological reasons and psychological reasons. In India and the other parts of the world, there are specialized healthcare setup, what we call it as infertility clinic. They try to diagnose and try to correct the conditions associated with infertility. But those conditions which cannot be corrected, which cannot be reversed, in that cases newer techniques have been adopted, what we call it as ART, called as assisted reproductive technology. And this ART, assisted reproductive technology, is the most important topic from examination point of view. So students, learn properly what is ART, assisted reproductive technology. So now let's start with ART. So what is ART? ART means assisted reproductive technology. This is assisted reproductive technology. In this assisted reproductive technology, a couple is assisted to conceive, or the couple is assisted to have children. Okay? And one of the first technique which is adopted under ART is in vitro fertilization, followed by embryo transfer. But first we will discuss this in vitro fertilization. You know the meaning of fertilization. Fertilization means a fusion of male and female gamete, that is called as a fertilization. Okay, so here we do the same. The fertilization means we are doing, in this technique, we are doing a fusion of male and female gamete. But where? In vitro. In vitro means outside the body. Clear? Usually in a human, the fertilization takes place inside a body. Okay, but here it is an assisted reproductive technology. What we call it as in vitro fertilization. Means in this technique the fertilization occurs outside a body. This type of a technique is called as in vitro fertilization. So here the fertilization takes outside body in a laboratory, in a stimulated environment. Means the environment which is similar to our body, that is provided, and the nutrition similar to our body, that is provided, and in such environment the fertilization process is induced. Such type of a fertilization is called as in vitro fertilization. Okay, now once the fertilization occurs, you know that what is the product of fertilization? Once the fertilization, or due to fertilization, what is produced? After fertilization, the ultimate product of this fertilization is zygote. Okay. Now this zygote that is produced outside a body, because here it's an in vitro fertilization, so fertilization occurs outside a body. So obviously zygote, where it is formed? This zygote is formed outside a body. We allow it to grow in a petri plate. We allow it to grow in a petri plate or petri dish to form embryo. Okay, and then this embryo is transferred into a human body. This embryo which starts to develop, that is transferred into a human body. Okay, so how it is transferred and where it is transferred depends on that. There are two methods. First is called as ZIFT and the second method is called as IUT. What is ZIFT? ZIFT means Z means zygote, I means intra, F means fallopian, T means transfer. Zygote intrafallopian transfer, this is called as ZIFT. Okay, and the second method which is adopted for transfer of embryo is called as IUT, means means uterine transfer. Okay, so after the embryo is formed from a zygote, so where the embryo is formed, the embryo is also formed outside the body. Now this embryo which is formed, that has to be transferred to a human body. So if it has to be transferred below the 8 cells or 8 blastomeres, because you know that initial cells are called as blastomeres, that up to 8 cells, okay, or the less than 8 cells, they are transferred into a fallopian tube. They are transferred into a fallopian tube. Remember, if it is less than or up to 8 blastomere, they are transferred into a fallopian tube. Okay, and this type of a technique is called as ZIFT, zygote intrafallopian transfer. If this blastomere or this embryo contains more than 8 blastomeres, it is transferred to a uterus. And such kind of a transfer is called as, or such kind of a technique is called as intrauterine transfer. What it is called? Intrauterine transfer. Okay, so depends on the location and depends on the number of cells where they are going to be transferred. There are two types of a technique, ZIFT and IUT. This is called as embryo transfer technique. Okay, what is ZIFT and IUT? Embryo transfer technique. If the embryo contains say 8 blastomeres or up to 8 blastomeres, then it is transferred to a fallopian tube, and that is technique is called as ZIFT. And if the embryo is more than 8, then they are transferred to a uterus, and this is called as IUT, intrauterine transfer. Okay, so this is a technique of first assisted reproductive technology in which in vitro fertilization, that is followed by embryo transfer. It's followed by embryo transfer, means once the fertilization takes place, zygote is formed, allow it to develop an embryo, and then it is transferred. Okay, if it is transferred to a fallopian tube up to 8 blastomeres, that is called as ZIFT. If it is more than 8 blastomeres and transferred to a uterus, then it is called as IUT, intrauterine transfer. Commonly we identify this technique as test tube baby program. So it's kind of a test tube baby program in which the zygote and embryo is formed in a laboratory in a simulated environment, and then they are going to be transferred. Okay, so these are the technique ZIFT and IUT. Another one technique, that is just a transfer technique, and this is called as GIFT. Okay, what is GIFT? GIFT means gamete, G means gamete, I means intra, F means fallopian, T means transfer. GIFT, gamete intrafallopian transfer. Okay, the name itself suggests here the transfer takes place. Where the transfer takes place? The transfer takes place in fallopian tube. What is transferred? The gamete is transferred. Whereas in ZIFT, it transfer takes place at fallopian tube. But what is transferred? Zygote or the embryo up to 8 cells, that is transferred in ZIFT. So difference between ZIFT and GIFT, that is in ZIFT either zygote or embryo up to 8 cell is transferred. In GIFT, what is transferred? Gamete is transferred. Okay, both are transferred in ZIFT or GIFT. Either zygote or gamete, they are transferred into a fallopian tube. In which circumstances this technique is useful? GIFT, that is useful in the cases where the lady is not able to produce the ovum or ova, egg cell. Okay, in that circumstances the technique which is going to be adopted is a GIFT. If in a couple the lady is not able to produce the ovum or female gamete, okay, in that case what we will do, we will get the ovum from healthy donor or healthy female, another healthy female, okay, and then we transfer into that couple. Okay, so here the lady only doesn't have a capacity to produce the ovum, but the internal environment is such that it can able to, or the she can able to conceive. Okay, the internal environment is suitable for a pregnancy, but she is not capable to produce a ovum or female gamete due to any of the reason. So in that case, the ovum is collected from a healthy female and then it is going to be transferred, and such kind of a technique is called as GIFT. So in which circumstances it is useful? It is useful where a lady is not capable to produce the ovum, but she can able to provide a healthy environment needed for a pregnancy. Whereas ZIFT, here the zygote is going to be transferred, or the embryo up to 8 cell is going to be transferred. So this is called as GIFT. Clear? So we have discussed three methods. In vitro fertilization, an embryo transferred to ZIFT, IUT. Next method is GIFT. One more assisted reproductive technology is ICSI. Which one is a ICSI? What is ICSI? First I means intra, C means cytoplasmic, S means sperm, another I means injection. Okay, so ICSI, another assisted reproductive technology is ICSI, means intracytoplasmic sperm injection. What is intracytoplasmic sperm injection? Intracytoplasmic sperm injection, here injection of a semen or a sperm, or the sperm is directly injected into a ovum. Okay, with the help of or microscope, the sperm or sample of sperm that is collected from a donor and that is injected into an ovum directly. Such kind of a method is called as ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Okay. Next method is called as AI. AI means artificial insemination. Okay, what is AI? Artificial insemination. This is a technique that is useful in the couples if a male is not able to inseminate. Inseminate means is not able to deposit his semen into a vagina. So in that circumstances, this technique is adopted. Which one is a AI? Artificial insemination. If a male is not able to deposit his semen in a vagina, or the semen that is produced that have low sperm count. Usually you know that in a one ejaculation 3 to 4 ml of semen is ejaculated or discharged, and that should contain 200 to 300 million of sperm. Okay, these are the numbers, and from that 60% should offer proper shape and size, and from that the 40% should have a vigorous motility. You know it, this is a normal phenomena. What is going to happen? That is called as an artificial, that is going to happen. But if the male doesn't able to inseminate, or the male discharge the semen but have a low quantity or low volume of a semen, in that case the technique that is going to be adopted is an artificial insemination. Okay, so here the insemination process is done artificially. Here the semen that is collected from husband or a donor, that is transferred or seminated or injected into a vagina or uterus of a female. Okay, that is transferred into a vagina or the uterus of a female. What is transferred? Semen. Okay, so this technique is called as artificial insemination. Okay, so these are the different ART, assisted reproductive technology. 2-mark question, but very important question. So assisted reproductive technology are the newer technologies. They help to overcome the problem of infertility, those problems which cannot be corrected by clinical settings or the particular healthcare setups, that can be corrected by ART, or they help in conceiving the children or to have a children. Variety of methods. First is in vitro fertilization, followed by embryo transfer, two way of embryo transfer, ZIFT and IUT. Second is gamete transfer. Okay, gamete transfer is useful in the cases where the lady is not able to produce the ovum or female gamete. Next, artificial insemination. Artificial insemination is a process in which if a male is not able to produce the semen or not able to produce the semen in a proper volume or does not able to inseminate, in that case the artificial insemination is performed. Next is ICSI. If they do not have a motility or the sperm doesn't have a motility, then we adopt this technique, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, in which a sperm is directly injected into an ovum. This is a different ART, assisted reproductive technology, and depends on the conditions. The doctor will choose a specific method that is suitable for a couple. Okay, but these are the latest techniques, and these techniques require professional expertise. It requires a precision instrument, means high-end sophisticated instrument it requires. It requires a highly skilled professionals, and so that's why the cost of this therapy would go up. Okay, the cost of therapy would go up. Sometimes the couple may have to take 2, 3, 4 sessions, and as the sessions going on increasing, then the fees are also going to increase. Okay, so ultimately these are the newer techniques, require high-end instruments, require highly skilled professionals. So that's why the cost of this therapy, ART, assisted reproductive technology, is high. And yes, when the cost is high, obviously everyone cannot afford it. Okay, this is a problem which is associated with assisted reproductive technology. Okay, apart from that, there are also some emotional stigma, kind of a social stigma also prevail in the society. So that's why many couple, they hesitate to go to such kind of a clinic or to have such kind of a ART. Okay, so these are the major two problems which are hurdle in ART, assisted reproductive technology. That is, one is a cost and the second one is emotional and social stigma. Due to that, the spread of this therapy is very low. But still, our country has a few centers. They are available throughout the India, and they help to a couple to have a children. And such kind of a techniques are called as ART, and they remove a problem of infertility. Okay, so that's all about chapter number 4, reproductive health. In reproductive health, these are the components which are very much important. First is contraceptive methods. You have to learn thoroughly the contraceptive methods. Okay, all the contraceptive methods. Second, MTP, medical termination of pregnancy, is equally important. And the last one is this infertility and ART, assisted reproductive technology. You have to do it thoroughly because these are very important topic from the chapter. Okay, so thank you for watching. Till then, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Okay, thank you for watching.